Test, test. All right, guys, welcome to tonight's showing of the 1RC late model series here at Lanes Raceway. We're running all the other series simultaneously here. Hopefully you guys don't see that thing in the background running. Driver's meeting ran a little bit long today, so the live stream's kind of a little bit less than what it needs to be currently. I'm trying to work on it right now. 3.580 Tim Hall in the beginner's class there. All right, let's see here. Let me go to Restream. Oh, that ain't working. Well, doesn't look like that's going to work tonight. Chat not going to be working tonight, folks. As I don't have the information to log in right now. It looks like my camera's not working either. A little bit of a stutter there. Randy Kirtley enjoying the race there from atop of the bleachers here at Lanes Raceway. Jamie Fulcher up next. He's got him a new livery on his car. That thing looks good. He also brought some stickers in today for the A main, B main winner. All right, that's going to be it. Looks like the fast time, Tim Hall, 3.580. All right, guys, next up, Blake Panel, Garrett Burden, Dirt Modified. 10 minutes to qualify. Guess we can make this a little bit bigger, maybe. Maybe not. Thought we could. Being that we're having a few issues here with the live streams. You guys normally see. You got it? Yeah, just go ahead and get in. Start qualifying. I'll put you in. T, add Dirt Modified to Jamie. So Garrett Burden with a 4.190 so far. 4.150. And Blake zooming in there, 4010 right now. All right, Jamie, whenever you're ready, man. What's up, Tim? T has them up there with her. Yeah. And here comes Jamie Fulcher with his open wheel modified. .40 from Jamie. 4.340. He's getting faster. So a 4.34 for Jamie Fulcher. Congratulations, Blake. Top qualifier. Next up, Super Dirt Late Model. Brandon Lee, Chris Henderson, Garrett Burden, Blake Panel. 10 minutes to qualify. Whew. So Brandon Lee with a 3.720. Chris Henderson up next. Chris said a little too much bite. That's a good lap. 3.10. Up next is Blake Panel. Blake's got that baby holding low. 2.960 so far. 2.880. Nice run there by Blake. So we're waiting on Garrett Burden. He's getting his car put together. Special thanks to our sponsor, Livermore Subway, 270-278-599 for all your sub goodness right next door to us here at Lanes Raceway. Garrett Burden, I believe, is running the regular 8000 motor with a lipo, so his car a little bit slower than the guys, but he's hoping on some consistency versus speed. 3.279. All right, congratulations, Blake, with a 2.880. Up next, Dirt Sprint Car, Garrett Burden, Tim Hall. On, you talking about with the 10,000s? He ran a 2.880. .2. Yeah. 4/10. Yeah. But, Garrett's car will handle a lot better because it's not just ridiculous like that. So he's not the only one that does. I think Jason does it like that too. Sometimes it pays off having a slower car. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's very subjective to the way that the track is. Randy bringing up an interesting point here. That counted. All right, you don't want me to subtract the lap? I will subtract the lap on you in the race, though, Garrett. Tim Hall up next. Tim right now, the 7.82. All right, Garrett Burden, 3.30. Congratulations. Next up, Asphalt Latemodel, Blake Panel, Chris Henderson, Tim Hall. 10 minutes qualify. Asphalt Latemodel. Chris got him a new livery here, the 51 Colt Trickle. That is good looking, isn't it? Chris right now with a 3.950 in the car. A little bit of bite there in the corner. These cars are got a lot of grip on them tires. Maybe by the end of the night, these things will be in a primo position to run. So the track will slicken up by the end of the night. Up next, Tim Hall in the 19. Tim Hall Racing. Three hundredths of a second faster right now than Chris Henderson. All right, next up will be Blake Panel. All right. At least he's got some yellow in the. I understand. So a 4.220 right now, 4.140 for Blake. All right, congratulations, Tim, 3.920. Up next, Dirt Street Stock, Bones, Blake Panel, Tim Hall, Garrett Burden. 10 minutes to qualify. And up first in the STP car here, Bones with the street stock. .230 so far. All right, a 4.230 for Bones. Tim Hall up next in the number 19, the yellow and orange car. Tim Hall right now, 3.920, really smooth. Up next will be Blake Panel in the purple 96 car. Riding the low side there, very good strategy. And a 4.019 for Blake Panel. Up next, we got Garrito the Burrito, number 5, black and yellow, Livermore colors. So far, 4.230. He's really smooth down there on the low side. A 4.230 for Garrett Burden. Congratulations, Tim Hall, 3.90. Hey, Sam. Sam the Wolfman up in the house. All right, we're going to move on into the heat races. All right, Dirt Late Model Beginner, Heat 1 of 2, Isaac Shepard, Jamie Fulcher, Bones. If you're not racing, please help track marshal. Isaac getting his Kit Kat mobile down on the track. On the pole. Jamie Fulcher there second and Bones third. Should be a good race between these guys. They're all pretty equal when it comes to racing prowess, I guess. And Jamie Fulcher with his new livery on his car looking good. Number 13. All right, racers, y'all ready? Here we go. And we're out. And it's a close battle side by side. A little roughhousing there on the Kit Kat as Jamie Fulcher pulls him and the car gets shut off. Isaac's going to try to get her swapped back on there real quick. There he goes. He's back into action here. He's got some time to make up. Now Jamie Fulcher there right behind Bones. Bones currently in the lead right now. Isaac in the old Kit Kat mobile here, lagging down just a hair there. We're seeing Isaac turn averages of 6 seconds. 5.93 now. The other guys in their 4s, and Jamie Fulcher 4.194. See Bones flipping there, and Chris Henderson quick to get that car flipped back over. We appreciate that. Bones back in the mix. Jamie Fulcher now out in the lead, holding it down in the 13 mobile. And new livery working out for Jamie for sure. Kit Kat right there in third place. He's 1 lap down from Bones. Bones still on the same lap as Jamie, but Jamie coming up on Bones and is wanting to make a move if he can. Bones and Jamie both about half a lap difference between each other. No one really gaining or losing, but averagely speaking, about 700ths or 800ths of a second difference between the two. 9 laps remaining. It's all about Jamie keeping his composure and keeping the car in line, and he's going to bring home a heat race here. Right behind him is the Kit Kat of Isaac Shepard. Isaac Shepard now getting his average times into the 4s. So he's making some aggressive moves down low with the Kit Kat. And he's right up on Jamie. He's looking to make a move, a hard move here, it looks like. As he makes the inside move, and Jamie gets into him, spins him out. Oh, and Bones gets into him a little bit. We might see a change in leadership here. 2 laps to go. Bones wrecks. I got to keep an eye on this to make sure you don't get a double lap. All right, looks like Jamie's going to bring it home. I know it says Bones, but he had a double lap. All right, finish the race. All right, guys, next up, Dirt Late Model Beginner, Heat 2 of 2. Tim Hall, Blake Pennell, Garrett Burden, Brandon Lee. Right now, Tim out in the front, Blake Pennell being second, Garrett third, and Brandon Lee in fourth. Hey, Bones, you did see what I did, right? So it counted you as the winner, but where you were wrecked there, it double counted your laps. So I just took a lap and put him in. Yeah. All right, guys, y'all ready? Here we go. Three cars involved in an incident here. We're going to see Bones get Tim straightened back out here. Brandon Lee currently in the lead there with the red car. And we see in the purple car there, getting in a little bit of a rough house movement there, Blake Pennell with Tim Hall. Tim Hall currently there in second position. Oh, Brandon Lee taking a dive bomb down low, flipping out on turn 1. Right now, Tim Hall in the lead, followed by Blake Pennell and Garrett Burden. As we see Brandon flipping there again in turn 1. Two cars involved in the incident. Tim turned around there. Blake Pennell now currently in the lead. Tim Hall there in second. Garrett Burden in third. Tim going low there on Brandon. Brandon saying he's blocking. But he, of course, gave Tim room there. They're just all joking. Garrett Burden there in third position, trying to make some moves here. On the low side there, we see Blake Pennell making a pass on Garrett Burden there in the black car. 8 laps to go. Oh, Blake Pennell gets behind Brandon Lee and spins him. Oh, and he's waiting on him. Okay, all just 1 lap's counted there, so we're good there. All right, our leader here having a little bit of time. Oh, Tim Hall just takes a shot there at Blake and puts him in second place. Or, well, I guess he had him on a lap, so. Tim now, okay, there we go. Tim Hall now back in front. Tim Hall, congratulations. moving to the next one. All right, guys, up next, Dirt Modified, Blake Panel, Garrett Burden, Jamie Fulcher. Here comes Garrett Burden lining up in second position. Blake will be in first and Jamie in third. From where? Oh, guys, y'all ready? Here we go. Garrett Burden out to an early lead here. As Jamie spun out. All right, it didn't count it, so we're good there. Move along. So when they spin out in the front, I look to make sure that they're not getting double laps here. Drug him all the way down the backstretch. All right, Jamie Fulcher got that lap. We don't want him to get another lap here. So there he goes. He's good. Right now, Garrett Burden in the lead by a lap. Blake Panel there right behind him. Oh, my. Sent to the high outside and a wheel come off. Yeah, you're missing a front left. He's going to drive at three-wheel, it looks like. Oh, as we see what looked to be Blake Panel try to take a stab at him. Checkers or wreckers, folks. Three-wheel peel. He is dragging on the body, but it ain't going to hurt the track. But it is quite hilarious. We've seen this in actual real racing before. People, my brother included, have finished a race with three wheels. Just added to the realism. Garrett Burden's got 3 laps to go. And it looks like Jamie's going to pull his car here. He's going to try to get his tire after the race. Congratulations, Garrett. Up next, Super Dirt Late Model, Blake Panel, Garrett Burden, Chris Henderson, Brandon Lee. Now, this is the one that I've been waiting on. This one in the sprint car to test out our brand new catch fence. And I'm really wanting to see if it's going to work. So far, nobody's went off in the middle. But I've been hearing rumors that Jason ain't here to put Chris over the wall. That's that's what I heard, that Jason was going to be able to put Chris over. So, Chris, just because Jason ain't here, we might still see a car over the catch fence? He said, absolutely. Yeah, what was that? Who was that? I couldn't remember. Who? It was you that ramped it, Dukes of Hazzard style last week? Put the bucket back out there for a little Michael Jordan shot? We can do that. So Blake in first, Garrett second, Chris third, Brandon Lee fourth. T, we need a track marshal. Hey, Jamie, do you care to track marshal? T, go ahead and help Jamie. He's got a destroyed car. T's going to fill in for Jamie's track marshaling. Jamie lost that tire. Over there by Isaac, if you don't mind. All right, guys, y'all ready? Here we go. And already Garrett Burton spun out on the backstretch and comes in collision with Brandon Lee. Brandon backing up and rolling his car. Brandon's going to flip her back over. Big hits here on the inside from Chris Henderson. Oh, and Brandon Lee and Blake Panel get involved. And when Blake got put back down, he got in with Garrett Burton a little bit. Pure carnage. They really are trying to go over the catch net. Brandon Lee riding the high side. His front right is jacked up in the air. Brandon Lee's is. He might have a broke shock possibly. As he's flipping over again, that front right, like I said, jacked up in the air. I guess it was the rear end. He's snapping it back in. Some hard hits here for sure. 13 laps to go. Right now, Blake Panel's out in the lead in the purple car as he gets spun on the front stretch. You see Tim Hall getting him flipped back over there. All right, Brandon back into business now. We can see that front end not jacked as high up in the air now, so he must have fixed the issue. Chris Henderson running the high side as we see Brandon Lee on the low side in turn 4, and he's getting ram jammed by Garrett Burton. They're side by side. Not even giving each other a smidgen of room. Blake Panel right now still in the lead as he comes up behind Chris Henderson in second. And here we go. Congratulations, Blake. Yeah, that's it. Well, I know Brandon broke that. Brandon, when he was coming around that front stretch, that right front, man, it was jacked up in the air. Yeah. All right, that's the end of the Super Dirt late model heat. Next up, Dirt Sprint Car, Garrett Burton, Tim Hall. Something I've noticed at least the past few times we've rode this is you really got to take about 2 laps and kind of put some heat in the tires to get these things to really seat pretty well. But if you can do that and not flip, they usually push a little bit better and hold the track pretty well. Tell you, we should have plenty of track marshals. You don't really have to on this one. If you want to, I mean, you can, but all right, guys, y'all ready? Here we go. And we already see Blake there in usual fashion. He's pretty smooth with the car here. So we see Tim's car flipping there. We see Garrett running that low side this week with this car. We usually see him kind of run a moderate side here. Tim Hall's car flipping there. Garrett Burton still running the Lanes Raceway setup on this car, and it's working out good for him. He's really got some good control. Garrett Burton runs a lot of laps during the week to get his car just right. Catch fence finally caught one. So we know the catch fence works. Like I said, it's either this class or the super late model class for sure that was going to catch the catch fence. Garrett Burton right now averaging 3.89. Garrett's spinning out right there. Last week we had 3 in this class. We had Blake. Blake opting out on this class this week. A little bit of a bicycle action there, but it back on his wheels for Garrett Burton. Guys, don't be deceived. These cars, you know, you say, well, I can drive them better than this. I'm telling you, this short wheelbase cars here, they're really, really hard to drive. These guys are actually putting on a show for you. I've tried to drive these things, and they're tough. And Tim's got that lap, okay, so we're good on that. Garrett got that lap. Make sure you didn't get 2. All right, congratulations, Garrett. All right. Asphalt late model up next, Heat 1. Tim Hall, Chris Henderson, Blake Panel. The 51 trickle car of Chris Henderson out there in the asphalt late model. Now, track running a little grippy tonight, so this class here probably going to have the hardest time. Guys are probably going to have to lift just a little bit from the top heaviness of these cars, or the grip will over exceed the car's capabilities of being so light, and they could actually flip and roll. So definitely something to keep an eye on for this class, because the track is super grippy tonight. Like I said, you just don't know from one week to the next. Last week I think was the best that we've ever had it. I had one guy say it was super slick and one guy say it was super grippy, so that tells me it was perfect. So this week I do know it's a little bit extra grippy. It is starting to slicken up a little bit, but we'll see how this class goes here. All right, racers, y'all ready? Here we go. And I'm on the red flag in case one of them flips over the inside, but don't know if that's going to happen. Tim Hall out to an early lead, followed by Blake Panel in the clear car there. 51 of Chris Henderson there. 3 of them going 3 wide almost there in one corner. Chris taking the high side there, trying to stay out of everybody's way. Blake Panel right now in the lead as we see Chris Henderson spin out again. Blake Panel there with the masked off yellow windows. His work, he had to do some work this week, so he wasn't able to paint his car. So At least we can still see it with the yellow masked windows as he goes low side. Him and Chris get into each other. Blake hitting the inside wall there. Tim coming up on him. He's got him within 2 to 3 car lengths here. Tim taking that low side there, actually gaining another car length that lap. Blake's just going to have to smooth it out, or Tim's fixing to take advantage. Tim bouncing off the wall there, now back to 3 car lengths. But Tim is being a little bit smoother through 3 and 4. Now got it within 1 as they go side by side in turn 1 and 2, and they get into each other a little bit. Tim comes spinning out, and then we see Blake actually lifting a little bit with Tim waiting on him, as it looks like possibly all 3 of them involved in an incident on this one. Now Tim taking the lead there. 8 laps left to go in this heat race. And it looks like Blake actually making a little bit of a comeback to 3 laps. I don't know if he's got the time unless Tim gets involved in an incident. It's going to be close. As Chris went high to stay out of the way, Blake going high, and that's it, folks. Congratulations, Tim Hall. And we're going to move into the next one. Dirt Street Stock, Heat 1 of 1. Tim Hall, Blake Panel, Garrett Burden, Bones. Okay. All right, guys, if you ain't racing, please help track marshal. It wouldn't hurt. All right, guys, we need track marshals. Going to wait on Brandon Lee. He's going to help track marshal. Guys need at least one more track marshal. All right, racers, y'all ready? Here we go. All right, Bones a little loose there on the back stretch as we roll through here. Like I said, this track is dynamic. Towards the end of the night, it's going to loosen up a little bit. That's what makes it a very unique track, to say the least. Starts out super grippy before the end of the night. People, whoa, down low. Bones and Tim getting into it a little bit. Tim stuck in the middle, 3 wide. Kind of tough. Jamie Fulcher having an issue here. Bones right there. Woo, sweet mercy. Bones spinning out. All right. And Bones. All right, I got to keep an eye on this. Bones got a lap. We might have to subtract one here. I don't even know what was going on there. I couldn't tell if he got 2 or not. I think he might have, but nonetheless, we'll subtract that later on after the race. Garrett Burden out in the lead, 14 Blake, 13 Tim Hall. That number 5 black car of Garrett Burden running pretty smooth, pushing a little bit coming out of 4. That's costing him a little bit of time as Bones comes up behind him here. Bones' car just a little loose today. Tim Hall's going to break out there. And Bones not going to get his lap there, so he did before. So now it levels out. I don't have to take one from him, so that works. And Garrett Burden still hanging on to the lead. Him and Tim Hall on the same lap. Tim Hall hits Bones twice on the backstretch. Tim Hall spun out, broke out. So he's going to lose a lap there, but that's all right. Garrett Burden's still hanging on to it. Garrett and all right, well, where Tim spun out, though, we'll take a lap from him and take a lap from Bones. That's going to change things a little bit. All right, so Tim, you and Bones did a loop. I took y'all's lap. Garrett, you're going to take that one. Blake, you'll be second. All right, moving on into the main feature here. All right. Dirt Late Model Beginner, B Main. Garrett Burden, Isaac Shepard, Bones, and Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee there in the 22, the 45 of Bones there. I mean, you guys let me know what y'all want to do. Well, you guys talk it over. We need one more track marshal, please. Well, y'all make a vote on it. We'll change it. So y'all want to take a break right now? So everybody's good with that? Okay. We only got one bathroom, Jamie. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. All right, out of the gate here, we're going to see Garrett Burden in the lead by a couple car lengths. Right behind him is the Kit Kat of Isaac Shepard, followed by Bones in the blue and yellow car. Brandon Lee there currently bringing up the rear here. His car was very fast whenever he first got here today. Some reason or another, his car's slowing down, averagely speaking, to a 4.5, 4.4. I mean, he's not without a bunch, but Garrett Burden there, 3.797 is pretty quick, folks, for this class. And Garrett Burden there going to make a lap pass there on Brandon Lee. Coming up next will be Bone. And Garrett Burden, like I said, having a lot of track time here. He's pretty smooth on his turns now, developing himself into a pretty good skilled driver on the low side of the track for sure. And that's where it's the fastest. Garrett Burden right now, 12 laps as he makes a nice clean pass on Bones on the inside. Coming up next will be the Kit Kat of Isaac Shepard. Isaac Shepard's average is a 4.083, a 0.2 of a second different from Garrett Burden. So Garrett Burden definitely, averagely speaking, quicker than this group of guys here. So he takes a low side approach here. The Kit Kat's going to get out of the way, give him some room. We'll see if that happens through 1 and 2. He takes the high side here and the low side, and they get into some contact here. Garrett Burden's going to spin. Both of them just trying to hold their line the best they could. As we could tell, both of those corners, as we get Brandon and Bones both involved in the incident too. 2 laps left to go. Garrett Burden out in the lead by 2 laps. I think he's going to bring it home. All right, congratulations, Garrett Burden. You'll be moving on. Get your B-Main sticker from T. We're going to finish the bump here and move Garrett into the A-Main. All right, guys. Dirt late model beginner, Tim Hall, Blake Pennell, Jamie Fulcher, Garrett Burden. Blake's going to get a B-Main sticker. Garrett, sorry. Y'all are around each other so much, I almost think y'all are brothers. So Garrett's going to get his B-Main sticker to add to his collection. Tim Hall's going to be on point pole here. Blake Pennell second, Jamie Fulcher third, and Garrett Burden fourth. Like I said, very impressed with Jamie's driving this week. He's very smooth with this new car, and we're seeing a different Jamie altogether in the late model series here with that new livery. 13 may be a lot of people's unlucky number, but for Jamie, it's a lucky number. Blake getting his car set up, the 96 Plum car there. I'll give Garrett a good old rising here as he's trying to get his car set up for the A-Main. He's got her stuck in there now. All right, racers, y'all ready? Here we go. All right, now to an early lead here, Tim Hall, followed by Blake Pennell, Garrett Burden, and Jamie Fulcher. Everybody giving each other room for sure. Tim Hall's coming up on Jamie. Jamie taking the high side here. Jamie going high again there for Blake, holding the high side as Garrett comes around here. Like I said, Jamie running real smooth here. His car just averagely not keeping up with the rest of the guys here. Jamie had a 4.4, 4.5 on average, but very smooth as he's coming out and going in good, but taking that high side, letting people by is cutting his time a little bit. A little bit of work with that car for sure, and I think we'll see Jamie battling it out in the A main here. He's got a good setup here going now with his car. So we see two cars involved in an incident here. That was Garrett Burden and Tim Hall. And this is the class for the points for the late model class. So the guys will check each other's cars. We're kind of going to stay out of it. If they want to protest, then we'll get involved. But right now, we hadn't had any issues with that. We were going to run a breakout of 3.8 in this class. That didn't go over well with the guys. They just want to run no breakout, um, and then just choose whether or not they want to do protests, which we're cool with. But you know, I think we're going to have a class in the future where it will be 3.8, because if you turn these ECUs on these cars, which you can change, which I find weird, you can get them down to those 3.6s, and that's why Tim and Blake are running those 3.6s, where the Garrett and Jamie are running 3.8, 4.1. So Garrett and Jamie most likely haven't had an ECU tune on it, as they're running pretty high threes. But the Blake Panel and Tim All definitely running a faster ECU. So we're getting a little drop frames there, 120 drop frames in the race here. And Jamie there giving some room to Blake Panel. Well, we're just waiting on the official move here, whether or not anybody's going to protest the A main. Guys, we good or what? We good? All right, guys. Tim Hall first, Blake Panel second, Garrett Burden third. Go get your pictures. Tim will have a main sticker there in Dirt Lake Model. All right, guys. After the picture, next up will be Dirt Modified, Garrett Burden, Blake Panel, Jamie Fulcher. Well, you know, too, also, the ESCs being able to be tunable in a class that's supposed to be stock is another thing that shouldn't have, you know. But they probably got them cheaper, you know what I mean? Because these things don't cost a lot. So, mhm. Well, not only that, it baffles some adults. Like they said, they had to do Jason's because he couldn't figure it out. So, like, I mean, it's tough. Like, you got to be somewhat intelligent on knowing how to do that kind of stuff. Garrett, Blake, and Jamie, you're up. Dirt modified. See Garrett Burden getting his car laid down. Blake Panel's still in the pits. That 13 car, Jamie Fulcher though, good looking wrap there. You guys know the rules. After the main, you can protest each other. I think you got them busted out. You guys ready? Here we go. We're doing a race restart. All right. Oh, hang on, guys. Yeah, pull to the front straight away. I've already started the restart. Hang on, guys. Yeah, y'all line up on the backstretch. I'll tell you when we're ready to go. I had to do a false start. All right, everybody lined up. Y'all ready? All right, there we go. So Jamie's wheel coming off again. It's like a nut might be stripped out on that car, possibly. Bring it over here, Jamie. Let me look at it. The inside broke out. Yep, that's what's happened. Because that right there is your inside wheel right there. It don't take much, does it? This is the one class. This one in sprint car till we found out that you got a blue Loctite, the front spindle thing. But this class and the sprint car were the two that causes the most damage. And it's always in the wheel hubs for some reason. But I believe when you get this car, you get the stronger spindles in both this class and the sprint car because they already know that issue of them being brittle. Blake Panel and Garrett pretty close together, but Blake Panel, averagely speaking, about 2/10 faster. Blake and Garrett, pretty good combo for sure, as they really burn this track down. They are our main drivers on this track, to say the least. They practice hours worth of practice on this track. And you can tell these guys have gotten quite good. They're always experimenting with different types of spring setups and everything. And looks like they figured something out here in the open wheel today, at least. But next week, you never know. The track might slicken up, and that setup they had this week may not do as good next week. It's a good thing about a dynamic track. Every week that I clean it, I accidentally hit the red flag there. No, it's good. I just accidentally hit the red flag with my finger. I was got my hand on the red flag the whole time, and I just twitched a little. 10 laps to go. Yeah, I've done that a few times actually running this race. I accidentally hit the red button while the race is going on. 50 laps is a long time to keep your hand just hovering right over a button without touching it, especially with a little tiny mouse. You got big hands. But better to be quick on it than to miss it. All right, congratulations, Blake. Blake, Garrett, Jamie, look over each other's cars. Let me know if you're good. What's that? Don't know yet until they give me the go ahead. Hi, are y'all good or what? Good? We're going to be racing on both. Yeah, because it's going to take the spot of a drag race. Yeah, because so we do it like, yeah, you got to run it either a 4 ohm or a 2.5 the way it is in that kit. And I think it's, don't quote me, but it's 9 or a 10 pinion that's in it. And I think it was a 37, if I'm not mistaken, in the rear. It's all online, all the rules for it. But yeah, no, no, but they're running stomp motors, not Eagle motors. So uh, yeah, the GRC motor. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from like road course to oval, road course to oval. If you wanted to put like a NASCAR body or something on it, like a 4-inch NASCAR body, you can do that. But you know that the LMP bodies are going to handle better. Yeah, it's Mid America bodies, 10,000 thickness. All right. Yeah, I mean if you have it, just match the rules. You just got to have a Parma controller because it's supposed to be like a super rookie class. It's just a Parma controller. Go over and look at them. All right, guys. Up next, Super Dirt Late Model, A Main, Blake Panel, Chris Henderson, Garrett Burden, Brandon Lee. Brandon, what happened to that car, dude? When you first got here today, your regular late model was pretty quick. Battery. Well, I mean, you were running up there with them guys, 3.6, 3.7s. Man, that was with the lipo. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you haven't messed with the EC on that, have you? Oh, it's turned up and it's still running that slow? Really? Oh. Driver error. Well, the catch fence works. I've only seen it in action one time, and that was in the sprint car so far. But it works. Well, it's good. Do it a couple weeks. I might just walk away from this, help track marshal. If I'm not needed for a red flag, you know. Because I like to think of myself as the best track marshal on earth. Hey, we have done that before. Well, when we ran Hometown Hero class on slot cars, I had a webcam that I strung out over at Old Lanes all the way across the ceiling, and I was down there on it doing it. But I'll tell you what, you'll work up a sweat doing that. So Blake Panel, Chris Henderson, Garrett Burden, Brandon Lee up next in the A Main Super Dirt Late Model class. How long? 3 seconds? One Mississippi. Celebrity Pictures. So the guys always get their pictures after the A Main. So some of them have to get the tire dope on their cars. You guys ready? Here we go. Now this one here, we might see one hit the catch fence on this one. Like I said, this is one of the gnarly classes similar to the sprint car. Ooh, Garrett Burden there. Bones, he's getting a workout. Brandon Lee going to the high side, getting smoked. Oh, Brandon Lee bouncing off the catch fence. Brandon Lee is getting destroyed here. They're passing Brandon his car. His whole back end's jacked is what Tim's saying. Guys are running the high side here, trying to stay out of each other's way. As we see Garrett Burden slam the inside wall. Right now, Blake Panel in the lead as Blake Panel does a slide job on Garrett Burden. Oh, Garrett Burden gets a little payback there for Blake Panel. Blake Panel yet to get a lap there. And he got one now. Garrett sliding out, coming out of turn 4 there. Like I said, these tracks do start to get a little slick towards the end of the night. And now we're starting to see these cars not grip as much. High side running there, building up some speed. You see a car slammed on the inside. That's Garrett Burden's car. Garrett Burden's car a little slow off the takeoff. Brandon Lee rolling. You see Chris Henderson there now currently in the lead. It's a battle between Chris and Blake Panel, both involved in an incident there. Chris and Blake on the same lap. Now Blake taking over the lead. Chris getting flopped back over. They're slamming the wall again. The intensity. Brandon and Chris getting their cars flipped over. Garrett getting hit. Garrett and Chris drafting on the high side. Garrett's back in, slides out just a little midway through. Head-on collision. Garrett Burden, Chris Henderson on his lid on the backstretch there. Blake Panel in a substantial lead now. 34 laps to Chris Henderson's 29. Blake Panel actually kind of cruising a little bit. Not really going as fast, letting off when he sees wrecks happen. And it's paying dividends, to say the least, in this A Main Super Late Model as Chris Henderson pulls Brandon Lee's card there on the backstretch. Garrett Burden's car now experiencing some loose action on the low side there. Brandon Lee and Blake Panel in an incident. Now within one lap, Blake Panel and Chris Henderson again. 1 lap difference separating these guys. It's starting to become a race again. Chris Henderson and Garrett Burden full-blown drafting, bump drafting here through the high side. Chris taking the inside and doing a slide job. What a beautiful slide job. Chris Henderson on the same lap right now as Blake Panel. Chris Henderson now taking over the lead. Oh, as we see a wad up with Blake Panel and another car. This is going to give another one to Chris Henderson. Chris Henderson's going to bring it home, folks. Congratulations, Chris. Guys, check each other for non-1RC parts. Make sure they got the lipos. Other than that, congratulations. Huh? Hey, that was some good bump drafting. And, man, did you see how cute he made that pass on you and then put a slide job on you in turn 2? That was nuts. All right, looks like they're good. We're going to move on into the next class. Yeah. So the pitcher will be Chris Henderson. Make sure he gets an A-main sticker. Blake Panel second. Garrett Burden third. You get it. You earned it. What a slide job, Chris. What a slide job. That was good. Next up, dirt sprint car, A-main, Garrett Burden, Tim Hall after the pitcher. Yeah, that was probably some of the most intense change of things. I thought Blake had it in the bag. He was about 5 or 6 laps ahead, but those couple wrecks that he had, man, really cost him. As Chris running that high side, staying out of trouble, him and Garrett Burden. And, I mean, there was a ram jam bump draft going on between the two, and Chris was able to come up from the back and make a nice, beautiful pass out of 3 and 4 and pull a slide job there in 2. You're up for a pitcher. Yeah. You were third. Yeah. All right, that gives me a second here to change our thing here. So we had a session drop out. I'll say that. Let's see. Is it over here on the other page? Next is dirt sprint car, Garrett Burden, Tim Hall. Must have shut it down. Oh well. I'll start it back up. And that is going to be RC track. There we go. These two classes definitely the most exciting to watch, especially when there's a lot of people. It's crazy. Last week we had I think it was Brandon Lee do a Dukes of Hazzard jump, so go back and check that out. But this week a nice beautiful draft into a slide job, literally one car length. It looked like they were behind the wheel in there. Pretty cool. While we're waiting on these guys to get their cars over here, check our Facebook page out. We're having a giveaway April the 1st, and it is not an April Fool's joke. We're literally giving a car out for that. So I think all you got to do is like and share in the comment section. And that'll be a late model like what we seen a little bit earlier ago, the beginner late model class. But you can tear it down just like a bunch of these guys have and turn them into super late models, just like what you seen Garrett and Chris a while ago. And try your best on the high side with them. And here comes Garrett. He's got his tires clean. He's ready to go. He's got his picture made. Garrett and Tim, they're going to get him a back stretch for him. Guys, we need turn marshals. Are y'all good? Really? It's going to be a lot. These are tough, guys. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. It's all right, T. They said they'll be fine. If y'all take a couple laps, those cars perform better. You take a couple laps and get the tires warmed up. Like I said, guys, this is our most challenging class, to say the least. If you can get it mastered and do it, I mean, you're a good RC racer. We see Garrett Burden, he's here every week running this class, and he's put in a lot, and I do mean a lot of laps. We see Tim checking something on his car. Nice hands, Tim. We got Garrett waiting. Tim's trying to figure something out with his car here. Tim doing a little trim on his controller. Looks like she's working pretty good now. All right, looking better. Tim's got his car running a little bit smoother here. Now, these cars will push when they're handling good. But the key is just to let off just enough that they handle good. Now we're seeing Tim actually picking up the pace. Let's take a look at the averages here. Tim's average, of course, going to be pretty substantial here, but his fastest time, 4.480. Garrett charted 3.750 right now. Garrett wrecking there. That's going to make it a little closer. 6 laps down, so he's already gained a lap. All right, Garrett did get that lap, but he didn't get 2. Whenever they spin out in front of the line, I got to really watch them, guys. Sometimes they spin out and get a lap, and we have to deduct it. As we got Garrett, he's already broke out once there, so he did get the lap. Didn't get a second lap, though. So Tim now got her within 4 laps. Catch fence worked. All right, Garrett Burden's going to get that lap in a row. 17:23. Back to a 6 laps difference now. Tim catching now. Averagely speaking, he's dropped her from a 13 on average to a 7 just from pulling this car there. His fast of 4.050, so he's in this race now. He's just got to make some good passes here. 4 laps difference separating him from him. 20 laps to go, so it could turn into a pretty eventful little race between these two. Now to 4 laps, and Tim's coming up on Garrett again. Oh, Tim takes the inside. Not yet got his lap. As he rolls through, he gets his lap. And then we see Garrett, not yet got his lap. He did get his lap. There we go. A lot of wrecking right there at the start-finish line. Like I said, it takes a pretty good concentration, to say the least. 5 laps down, Tim Hall to Garrett Burden. But he's making some smooth runs now. He's got them tires warmed up. And we're seeing a lot of catching here as Garrett's kind of taking it back a little bit slower, trying to get through this. With 10 laps to go, it's going to be close. Then 4 laps now. Garrett finding some of his own mojo here. And Garrett saying his battery's going dead. 6 laps to go. As he wrecks Tim Hall, Garrett's going to break out that lap. Tim's going to get it. 4 laps difference now. It's coming down to it. 4 is the difference. Garrett might be out of this. He might have ran out of fuel. I don't think he got enough fuel in the car. What a turn of events. I don't think there's any fuel left in that 410. He had enough for 45 laps, guys, but not enough for 50. Tim Hall, in a huge 7-lap deficit, is going to cruise his car to the victory. Yeah, Tim run 2 more laps. 2 more laps. Got to have at least one of you finish. All right, congratulations, Tim. I'll tell you what, a betting man would have never made that bet being 7 laps down, but Garrett Burden not allotting for enough fuel in that tank cost him the race. What an eventful little race that turned out to be. Next up, Asphalt Late Model after the picture, Tim Hall, Blake Panel, Chris Henderson. Bones, I'm going to go ahead and move you from the B main today because it was just you. Because you would have got bumped anyway. Yeah. Asphalt Late Model, Tim Hall, Blake Panel, Chris Henderson. So, Garrett, did you use the used lipo in that? Was it? Yeah, when a lipo goes dead, it's dead. That was a hilarious turn of events. Not for you, Garrett, but for me. It did. It's like I told you, Tim. You get a couple laps in there, heat them tires up, they work. Yeah. No. Especially not on a grippier track. It's just now starting to lose a little grip. We need one more. Garrett, do you mind to track marshal this end? All right, guys, y'all ready? Here, here we go. Tim Hall out to an early lead here in the yellow and orange car, followed by the clear car with yellow windows, Blake Panel. Chris Henderson with the 51 Colt Trickle there in the corner in third position. Looks like Chris is going to take the high side there. And the high side again, now a lap down from Blake and Tim. Blake making some moves to try to catch Tim here. And it's really, in this race here, it's just keeping the car off the wall. You see, Chris, a little too much grip coming out of the corner there. These cars running the asphalt tires, man, they are super soft and super grippy. Uh, this is commonplace for 1/18 stuff when it's really grippy. They will flip. And right now, Blake Panel currently out in the lead. I don't know if there was an incident that took place there. I was watching Chris Henderson's. 3.970 of Blake, 3.950 of Tim Hall. Both these guys really close together. And a 4.0 for Chris Henderson. Tim Hall making a pass on the inside of Chris Henderson. Chris Henderson diving low. Blake Panel running the low side, keeping pretty good pace there. A little swoop up in turn 1 and 2 there, we can see. But in turn 3 and 4, very smooth going on the low side. Tim Hall looking to make a resurgence here. Averaging speaking of 4.152 for Tim, 4.11 one for Blake Panel. So neither racer gaining or not gaining. So it's going to boil down to whether or not they can keep their consistency up and not wreck. Very, very close race. "13 laps left to go in this A main feature." Fastest time separated by only 0.03 of a second. On average, separated by about 40 dead-on hundredths. So we see Chris Henderson up onto the wall up there on turn 3, coming around to 4. He's about 7/10 down from the guys. 3 laps left to go. All right, congratulations, Blake. Guys, y'all check over each other's cars. Let me know if you're good. All right, I hear good. Chris, he's getting some extra laps in. He's good. All right, guys. Dirt Street Stock up next. Garrett Burden, Blake Panel, Tim Hall, Bones. And this will be our last race of the evening. We'll turn the track back on to practice after this. You guys rolling? All right, good seeing you guys. Randy Kirtley taking his position up in the top stands there. He wants to see the final A main here at Lanes Raceway, the Dirt Street Stock. Pictures being made right now from the asphalt late model class. Now, of course, everybody here today will get points for the dirt late model beginner class, and if they show back up Saturday in race, they can block whoever didn't make it today. While we're waiting on these final racers, I'm going to come over here even though the camera's not working right now. I had a question in one of the comments in there. Did you have to pre-order these shirts? No, you don't. But the pre-ordering of the shirts made them $25.99. Of course, that order was made Monday. But we have the QR codes for them. But what will end up happening is those shirts will probably shoot up to $34 or $35 a shirt now. So it was best that you got them in. If you didn't, you still got an opportunity. All right, guys, can we get some track marshals? Yeah, this is it. All right, racers, y'all ready? Here we go. Tim Hall's car's having a little issue there on the back stretch. Looks like his car's wanting to turn towards the upper portion of the track there. And Bones head-on collision with Garrett Burden. We see Jamie Fulcher getting them straightened up there. Right now, Garrett Burden currently still out in the lead even after that incident. Going 3 wide into turn 1 and 2 here. Tim Hall to the high side. Bones on the high side, swapping back and forth. And Blake Panel there was able to make it out. I think he got into a little bit of one of the cars. All right, looks like Tim Hall's car is having some issues here. If we see Jamie Fulcher trying to get whatever car he can get here. Bones' car all the way around backwards on the back stretch. Now everybody lined back up pretty clean. Looks like Brandon Lee said one of them's possibly got a broke shock. Tim Hall there to the inside. Oh, Bones going up to meet him. Now Bones on his lid. He did get that lap though, so that's good. Bones going to check his car here real quick. It's got something on the left rear. Bones possibly got a busted shock or something. It does affect these cars tremendously. Oh, as Blake Panel takes out Garrett Burden, then Tim Hall gets a piece. Rubbins racing. Garrett Burden still in the lead, but that didn't help his chances at bringing home a win. 30 laps left to go here, and we're seeing 3 of them lining up pretty good here. Now, Garrett Burden's car looks a little bit slow after the incident. Almost sounds like he's pulling a gear. So he comes down and gets involved with Blake Panel, and both of them are going to get their laps there, so we're going to continue on. Now Bones back in with the STP Mobile. Tim Hall got a break out there, but then he did lose a lap there. No, you only got one. It's all right. Side by side, Garrett Burden now in second position as Blake Panel takes the lead. Oh, Garrett Burden gets involved with Blake and Tim. Oh, looks like Bones was trying to get him some too there. Bones now turned over in 3 and 4 there. He's getting spun back around. 13 laps left to go in this race. Blake Panel 38, Tim Hall 37, 36 for Garrett Burden. And we'll fix the laps at the end of the race. So you heard me say 37, even though it showed 38. He was 1 lap different. All right, looks like Tim having issues getting his car to turn around, along with Blake. Six laps left to go. It's been a beating and a banging for sure. Might actually be able to do it right here on the fly. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. I'll just go ahead and remove that lap. All right. Blake Panel, Tim Hall, Garrett Burden, Bones. I already took your lap, Tim. That's true. Yep. You got it right there at the end. Yeah, is everybody good? Make sure everybody's good. All right, I think everybody's good. We're going to go ahead and move it on into It's Official. And we're going to see Blake there in first place taking home an A main. Tim Hall getting that second place right there at the end as he passed Garrett, even with getting the lap subtracted. So we have a breakout, but it's a very minimalistic breakout, and it's just for looping purposes. And what happened was he looped once, it red lit him. You can go back and see it. And then the next time he got the lap. So that's the lap we took. And then now he's back on. It's happened already twice tonight. Bones had it happen to him twice, and Tim's had it happen to him twice tonight. Sometimes they just lose control or get involved in wrecks around the start finish. We're going to be fixing that with a sector in the future, so then they can spin as much as they want. They'll never get a lap once we add a sector in it. But you know, that's Future Lanes Raceway, kind of like our flat track that's supposed to be here in a day or so, and that's going to be pretty cool. We got a huge one coming. And the guys are going to get to experience some flat track. They've all been wanting to do flat track, so uh, you know, I was going to do it out on asphalt. My brother didn't really want to do it on asphalt, so we ended up getting one of the professional flat tracks. He wants things to be more professional, and we got another lap counter coming for that. So what we're going to do now is just head on over to the practice and start it back for these guys so they can have some fun the rest of the night. And since you can't see me, God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in to this week's 1RC Late Model Series race plus other series. Thank you guys for tuning in. Come back and join us next Tuesday. God bless you guys. See you next week.